Today we're going to be talking about carrot and ginger soup. We're going to be using some new equipment today, so I wanted to go over that with you. First, I want you to focus on mise en place. You're going to gather all of your ingredients and then you're going to start cooking. You will today need a few different pieces of equipment. So you'll need a peeler, you'll need a cutting board, you'll need an anti-slip mat underneath that cutting board, you'll need a chef's knife, you'll need a saucepan, the large one, and you're going to need your microplaner or zester. This is a super useful tool. Okay, so once you have all your equipment out and you've measured things, you're going to have some volume, some liquid volume, so make sure that you are getting the right pieces of equipment. Okay, you are going to need to measure out. First, we're going to start with your canola oil. It's tablespoons, 2 tablespoons. It says divided. And that divided means that you're using it at 2 different points in the recipe. So you can measure it all in one, just make sure you don't use it all at once. You're going to use it 2 different times. Next, you're going to be cutting your onions. So you're getting 1 medium onion, which is approximately 1 cup, and you're going to medium dice this. So if you need to get one of these charts, please feel free to. They're right down below the kettle over here. Okay, so the medium dice is the medium size. So you're going to start by cutting the onion in half lengthwise. So following those lines that are on the onion, making sure that you're cutting the root end where the little stringies are. You're cutting that in half but not off. You're just cutting it in half. Because where those little stringies are, that's where the whole onion comes together. Just like Shrek said, onions have layers. We want to keep those layers together until we're ready to cut them apart. So you're going to cut that apart like this. So you're going to hold it. Make sure you're holding your knife properly, so finger down along the side of the handle, thumb on the metal, and the other finger is curled around. Okay, so you're going to position it so it's right in the middle of that root end, and then down and forward. Okay, so you can see there that it's cut in half, but the root end down here where all the layers come together, that's still attached. Okay? Then we're going to lop off a little piece at the top that has dry bits on it. And now you should be able to peel back a layer. Okay, so you get a fresh layer of onion. And you should have a bowl for your compost. So put all your compost bits into a bowl so it's not in the way. Okay, so now in order to get that small dice, we're going to cut in a little bit. We're not cutting that root end off, we're just cutting it apart in front of it. So we're making slices that go almost all the way to the root end, but not all the way. Okay, so you can see like this. Okay, so you can see me separating it there. Now we're going to cut the other way, this way. Okay, just straight across, and you end up with nice little pieces. Okay, so we're going to do a whole onion like that. Then you need 3 garlic cloves, and you're just going to smash them. So you're going to pull them off of the garlic bulb, which is what this is called, or the head of garlic. Okay, you need 3 pieces. You're going to separate them, and we don't want the skin on them, but don't try to struggle with that, not yet. Okay, so you're going to take your flat part of your knife, put it down on top of the garlic clove, fingers up, we're not winding up, we're just going to lean on it and crush that garlic, and then the skin should just pop right off. See, just like that. Okay, so we're going to do that for 3 pieces, and then we need to peel and small dice carrots. So I don't care if you use the horizontal or the vertical peeler, I prefer this one. You're going to peel the carrot first, all the way around, and then you're going to cut small dice. And we've already practiced how to do this. Okay, small dice, but instead of just saying 1 carrot, for this recipe, you actually need 2 heaping cups. So you're going to small dice, and then you're going to make sure that they're heaping, so they're over the top of the cup. Okay, so you're going to do that twice. And then you're going to measure your ginger. So this is where the zester comes in handy. Okay, this tool is really fun to use. Just make sure sure you're not working in a teeny tiny little spot on your counter. Get everything cleaned off. And you need, it says, 1.5 teaspoons. So you're just gonna take this and you're just gonna go back and forth. Now this ginger is frozen, which makes zesting super easy. Okay, you can see that there, super easy. And then you just put that into a measuring spoon until you get the right amount. Oh, and does that ever smell nice? Okay, next we need to measure out 1 tablespoon of cider vinegar. So you just use your regular tablespoons because again, measuring spoons are for liquid and dry. So the cider vinegar is actually an important role in this recipe. It helps to balance out the flavors of the sweetness of the carrot and the tanginess of the ginger. It kind of balances those two flavors. Without it, they're both in competition. So that vinegar is a really important ingredient. Okay, and lastly, what we need is well, not lastly, but you still need salt and pepper, but we're gonna need some broth. And in my kitchen, we always use concentrated because it's cheaper to buy it in this form rather than liquefied. So either one, you need to be measuring water, hot water, for both of them. This one, it says on the back that you need 2 teaspoons per cup of water. And for this, each cube in this package makes 2 cups. So you need to add 2 cups of water per cube. And if I can get the package open, I will show you. So you just unwrap this cube into a liquid measuring cup with boiling water and kind of break it up. And this will make broth. Okay? So make sure that you are reading the directions because it says that we actually need 3 cups of broth. So you'll need to use more than 1 cube. So you might have to share with a neighbor, or you can use the concentrate from this bottle, which is a little easier to use. Okay? So now that you have everything prepped, you're actually going to get to work on cooking things. So in your large saucepan, so a saucepan is a taller container with a long handle. It's not short, those are frying pans or skillets. This is a saucepan. And the one that has a really tall side with 2 handles on either side, that's a stock pot. So saucepans, traditionally used for making soups and sauces, we're making a soup. So we're going to use our large saucepan. Into here, you are going to add half of your oil, because remember that oil was getting divided. Okay, so you're going to heat half the oil in the saucepan over medium heat and cook the onions until translucent. So that doesn't give you a time, that means you have to use your eyes. So these onions should be a little bit see-through, no longer white. Okay, once that happens, you're then going to add your smashed garlic and your chopped carrots. So that means all those go in there. And the remaining oil. And we're going to cook those for about 3 to 4 minutes. Okay? Stirring occasionally. Then you're going to stir in your ginger, and you're going to stir in your cider vinegar, and your broth. Mix that all together. Then we're going to bring that up to a boil. So not little bubbles, but great big rolling bubbles. Once that comes up to a boil, you're going to turn it down. And we just want to see little bubbles at that point. We're going to do that for 15 minutes. Basically long enough for your carrots to get soft. Okay? That's why we're cutting them to a small dice, because if it was a medium dice, they would take longer to cook. So the size really does matter for the carrot chopping. Okay? Then you're going to take everything that's in this saucepan and you're going to put it in the blender. Your blender is based on your kitchen number. So the bases have your kitchen number, the jar has your kitchen number, and the lid has your kitchen number. This is so that I can help make sure that things are returned clean. So please make sure you're paying attention to those things. You're going to pour everything into the jar. And you can put the jar in your sink and then pour, so you'd make less of a mess if you spill. For this, because I'm short, this would be pretty high to be pouring into. But basically you're going to pour everything in here. Okay, you're going to put the lid on, and then, because that water or the broth was just boiling, you're going to put a towel over top, and you're going to hold this. This will prevent you from getting steam burns, okay? And then you're going to plug this in, and you're going to turn it on. You can turn it on to whatever speed you want, but start slow. So turn it on to step 1, let that come up to speed, blend a little bit. You want this to get pretty smooth. So feel free to go up to higher numbers. Now we haven't added any salt and pepper up to this point. So you're now going to open this up and sample. So you're going to sample. Everybody in your team should sample. And then you're going to add a pinch or two of salt and pepper and then stir it again and sample. Make sure you're not using that same spoon. We don't want any double dipping. All right? You can put this lid back on to stir as well. Make sure that towel is there. We don't want any steam burns. Okay? Once you're happy with the salt and pepper of this, then you can portion it into your bowls, and that's where you can personalize it. We have some maple syrup that you can pour into it. That will give it an extra sweet flavor. You can make it a little bit more savory with some pesto, or the way I like it, I like to put some coconut milk in because it makes it really creamy. This is a favorite soup. It's fantastic. You can make this a vegan recipe by using veggie broth instead of chicken broth. It's a great recipe to share with friends and family. It's really nice on a warm day or cold day to have a warm, really rich soup. And it's a brilliant color. So I hope you enjoy this recipe, and I'll see you next time.